Hello and welcome back to the Wasteland, everybody. Welcome back to Fallout 3, where today we're going to be taking a look at my top 10 most disappointing weapons in this game. You guys like the New Vegas one, so I figured we might as well include Fallout 3. We might do 4 and maybe even the classic games too. I haven't decided that just yet. If you guys like to see it though, I'm down for that. So first up at our number 10 spot, we have the drone cannon. This also kind of goes for the unique drone cannon as well, as they're not very different from one another. And these weapons are just kind of weird. As for like stats and everything, they're actually pretty decent for big guns. Big guns don't have a whole lot of crazy weapons, and if you wanted to rush the Mothership Zeta DLC, then you could get one of these pretty easily. Just kind of an oddball gun, but honestly, a pretty decent gun if you are just going with a dedicated big guns build, because there's not a whole lot of DLCs that have big guns. It's basically just Mothership and like Broken Steel. And Broken Steel, you have to complete the main game first. Big guns kind of struggle in the early game, so this could be an option if you want to rush that. Coming in at my number 9 spot, we just have explosives as a whole in Fallout 3. I decided to put them here because building for an explosive-only build is really awkward in Fallout 3. It's awkward in most of the Fallout games, honestly. It does get better in New Vegas. Vegas is probably the best version of like an explosive build that we've gotten, simply because there's so much variety to it. But in Fallout 3, we don't really have much variety. It's just placed explosives and just thrown explosives. Big guns don't count as explosive weapons. So things like the Fat Man or like the missile launcher don't even go towards that, or other explosive weapons like we just talked about, the drone cannon, and like the heavy incinerator also has explosive damage on it too. But none of those are affected by like explosive perks. It's really only like the mines and the grenades. And if you wanted to do like a full build of just mines and grenades, you could do it. Like there is a decent amount of good things. Like you got the plasma and the frag grenades and mines, so that's good. As well as you have the nuka grenades and the bottle cap mines that are pretty decent. So not a huge fan of just the explosive variety in Fallout 3. Coming in at number 8, we have the nail board. The nail board is another one of these weapons that's just really bad. I debated on whether putting this or the pool cue on here, but since we had the pool cue in Vegas, we might as well have the nail board here. Both are pretty terrible melee weapons. Both don't really have a whole lot going for them. They're low damage per second. The nail board is even heavier than the pool cue though, so that drags it down a little bit more. The one redeeming factor about the nail board is that it does have a really good named unique board with the Board of Education. I do really like that, even though that one is a pretty terrible melee weapon too. Most of the melee weapons in Fallout 3 are honestly pretty underwhelming, simply because like the unarmed weapons are so much better, especially when you have like the Iron Fist perk. Also, speaking of another bad melee weapon, at number 7 we have the police baton. This one is also just really terrible. The police baton has never been good in any of the Fallout games. This one does low damage per second. It attacks fairly fast, which is kind of good, and they are lightweight, as well as you do get these right at the very start of the game in Vault 101. The problem is, though, is you already get a better melee weapon within Vault 101 with the baseball bat. That one does more damage and more damage per second, as well as has longer reach to it. So there's not really a reason to be using the police batons unless you're afraid that your baseball bat will break, which probably won't be that big of a deal anyway, since it's not super difficult to find them throughout the Wasteland. And melee's actually in a pretty decent spot in the early and like mid-game of Fallout 3, so the police baton just falls a bit short here. Coming in at my number 6, we have the trusty BB gun. The BB gun is honestly a pretty cool weapon. I do like it. I like that it was in the classic games and they put it in 3, and it is your first weapon to do kind of the tutorial and shooting. The main problem is anytime after the vault if you want to be using the BB gun, because there's not a whole lot of BB guns that can be found around the Wasteland. There's a couple places that you can buy them, and there's not a whole lot of places where you can buy BBs either. And since this is the only weapon that takes it, you kind of need those. So even if you just wanted to have this as like a plinking gun to be shooting off the smaller enemies in the Wasteland, like rad roaches and mole rats or something, you may not actually even be able to do that. Plus, there's no unique BB gun. I know there's a cut one for Fallout 3, but it would be really cool if we had gotten another unique BB gun in the Fallout universe. Coming in at my number 5 spot, we've got the assault rifle. Now, the assault rifle is actually pretty good in terms of design. I do like this assault rifle a whole lot more than what we got with the Fallout 4 assault rifle, that's for sure. But it does kind of fall off like immediately, because it's pretty much worse than the Chinese assault rifle. The AK is just kind of better. It does more damage per shot and more damage per second. They both hold the same amount of bullets. They both use the same bullet. The only advantage the assault rifle kind of has is that it is slightly more durable. And that's about it, so there's not really a reason to be going for this. Now, I do like the unique versions of these with the Perforator and like the Zulong assault rifle. Both of those are really good. But the assault rifle itself is just kind of lackluster, because even though you can get these like right away at the start of the game, you can also get Chinese assault rifles right away at the very start of the game. There's even some that are in Megaton if you want to be breaking into the armory there. And speaking of a gun that's not really that bad but gets outcompeted immediately, we've got the 32 pistol coming in at number 4. The 32 pistol, I do really like the design of. I wish we would get more guns like this in Fallout, because the 32 pistol is a really cool revolver. I do like this quite a bit. The main problem is it's kind of useless at any point in the game. Like, yeah, it can shoot pretty fast, and it uses a very common bullet with the 32 round, but that's kind of it. And there's not really a reason to be using this when you could go with like the hunting rifle, which also appears really early on. It's the only other gun that uses the 32 round and does substantially more damage per shot. So that one is just kind of better, unless you just want a weapon that you can spam out kind of quickly. And the unique 32 is not bad. I do kind of like it just for plinking small enemies, so that is a bonus there, but it doesn't really have a whole lot going for it, all things considered. Coming in at number 3, we've got the rolling pin. Rolling pin is another weapon that's just not very good. It's pretty much just as bad as like the police baton, but these things are incredibly rare sometimes. Sometimes you can find them in like the garbage, sometimes you can find them in mailboxes. A lot of the time you may not find them at all though, and almost nobody sells them. So if you want to be doing like a rolling pin run for whatever reason, it's not really that good. If you get the simulation rolling pin, like you spawn that one in, or if you're just in the simulation, then that one's actually pretty strong. That one's actually pretty comparable to like some of the higher end melee weapons, but the base rolling pin is really bad overall. Going in my number 2 spot, we have the sawed-off shotgun and the kneecapper. The sawed-off double-barrel shotgun is a really cool weapon, and it's been a staple for the Fallout games for quite a while. I mean, it's kind of a staple for post-apocalyptic in general, thanks to Mad Max. And the sawed-off shotgun is pretty cool. It is an early game shotgun, which is good. The main problem, though, is that it is the worst of the shotguns. Now, the sawed-off double barrel, I don't really, again, have a problem with the way that it's designed, even though it is kind of weird compared to, like, a standard sawed-off shotgun. And I do like the fact that this one you can fire one barrel at a time, where that would be kind of simplified to firing out both barrels in Fallout New Vegas. However, the shotgun's main advantage in Fallout 3 is that they have absurd crits. The main problem with the sawed-off shotgun, though, is that it doesn't have crits at all. It can't hit any crits. Even if you hit a sneak crit, it doesn't do any additional damage because it has no crit damage. So it is like the most fair of the shotguns, but again, why would you want the most fair thing when you could have the unfair thing? Even the full-size double barrel can hit crits, which is good. I'm not sure why the sawed-off version doesn't. It's also kind of weird that everybody would saw off their full-size double barrel in DC, as opposed to when you go over to Point Lookout and then there is the full-size double barrel shotguns. So that's kind of funny. Yeah, just not super strong and gets outcompeted by the combat shotgun immediately once you can get that. And then my number 1 most disappointing weapon goes to the Chinese pistol. This one, it looks so cool. It's based off the Mauser C96. I really love the Mauser C96. And that one's actually appeared in some of the other Fallout games, like it appeared in the very first Fallout game. But it is just so bad. It doesn't really do anything. Worst of all is, once again, you start out with a better weapon than this weapon, similar to like the police baton and the baseball bat. This one, you start out with the 10mm pistol, which is just straight up better than the Chinese pistol. The only thing the Chinese pistol has going for it over the 10mm is that it does have more durability. That's it. They use the same bullet. The 10mm holds more rounds. It does more damage. They both have about the same reload speed. They both have about the same firing speed. And this one offers like nothing. It doesn't even have any sort of like unique perks that help out with it. Even the unique one, since that one counts as at least a fire weapon, you'd think Pyromaniac helps it out. It doesn't though. It doesn't count as a fire weapon because it just has like fire bullets on it, which is different than it being a fire weapon for whatever reason in the game code. It is a very cool design pistol. I do really like it. This would actually show up again in like Fallout London, where it was substantially better, where that one would actually be like fully customizable. I mean, that one's a mod, but still, it was so much better then, because then it actually did really good damage. You could put so many modifications on it, like putting the stock on there, putting an extended mag, putting an extended barrel on there if you wanted. Such a better weapon than what we would get in Fallout 3, sadly. And these are my top 10 most disappointing weapons in Fallout 3. Tell me which ones are your least favorite for whatever reason. Thank you guys so very much for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.